Hey, sorry for the interruption, but we wanted to let you know that this week's episode is brought to you by Spotify for Podcasters. Really cool app. Josiah and I use it for every single show that we bring to you every week. You can edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so you can start creating as soon as you log into the platform. You can easily distribute your podcasts to Spotify and everywhere else the podcasts are heard, just like we do every single week. You can also create video podcasts on Spotify, which is really cool. And of course, you can earn money like I'm doing right now by including ads and even podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free. There's no catch. We really love it. We use it every single week. So we encourage you to go download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. All right, let's get back to the show.
Radical! Welcome to this week's episode of the Print on Demand Cast. Each week, join the gnarly Travis and Josiah as they provide insight into the print on demand industry and equip you with the totally tubular tools, advice, and strategies you need to achieve success and hopefully have a few laughs along the way. Now on to this week's Totally Tubular show.
Hey everybody, we are here live in Long Beach, California. We managed to coerce a guest to sit with us for long enough to put out a podcast. It is the last day of the trade show. I think, do you fly out this afternoon as well? Or are you here for another day? Oh, you drove, but you're from Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that soon. But sitting here with us is Brandon Mills from Las Vegas, Nevada with Total Promotion Company. Brandon, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for making time to sit down and chat.
Yeah, no, thanks for dealing with me. I lost my voice over the last few days.
Yeah, it's been quite the trip. You know, I mean, every single night. So, for those of you guys who don't, actually get an opportunity to go to a show like this, every single night there's something that happens. There's a party, there's a gathering, there's a something. So Josiah and I went out on
Friday night,
and that's actually where we met Brandon.
Right, at the church show.
At the Congregation Ale House.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a madhouse.
It was a madhouse. They were told that they were going to get 40 people, and there were probably 300.
It's like
I knew
a
it was
cattle
going to
call.
happen.
Yeah.
Last year it was packed.
It was crazy.
But anytime you do an open bar, you're going to get the people.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there were probably like 300 people packed. I felt so bad for the staff.
They loved it.
Oh yeah, they had to make plenty of money with it. I could tell they were very stressed.
Yeah, so we started there, and then that's where we met Brandon. We had a great conversation with a lot of people there. But Josiah and I decided to keep going, and we may or may not have visited a few other places to get some more libations. Anyway, so last night Josiah and I we came back after the show. And we were dead.
We were so tired.
I think we had one more beer in the room.
Yeah, and then that
was it.
Jersey Mike's and watch movies.
We were slap happy. We were slap happy. But you,
oh my gosh,
what did you do?
You did a second night. Tell us about what you did.
I had to rally the guys from Rock. I met the Printavo girls, and they got us some tickets to the yacht party.
The yacht party.
Now,
you heard that right, guys. A yacht party.
A docked yacht party, or just a yacht party?
It was going to be. The yacht was going to go out the night before. I guess the engine broke down, so it was on the dock.
Oh, dang, okay.
Yeah, but they had Everclear on there, the band.
The band,
and the drink.
There's a little bit of nostalgia going on.
The drink.
Yeah. All open bar, all food. It was fun.
Wow.
It was a good crowd of people. I don't know if you guys know the guys from Rock, but I met their tribe.
Were the Ryonet crew there as well? Ryan and those guys?
I didn't see them.
Okay.
I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
We've got a story quickly.
Oh no, actually he was there.
Was he?
Yeah.
I was going to say I'd be surprised if he wasn't.
Yeah.
Brian
Right.
Moore wasn't there.
He was coming up the steps. The way they had it, you could only go on the top of the boat, like at a certain cap. So like the people that were down below, like they had to wait to come up to the top where the band was going on.
Sure.
Okay.
And he was like, when I left, he was able to get up. I went and saw him. I was like, hey, you guys are up.
Yeah. So quick story about that. About Ryan. We went to SGIA when it was SGIA. It's now Print United in Las Vegas a handful of years ago. and Ryonet had a party bus that was happening. And so we ended up on the same bus with Ryan, and he had a guitar, and he was playing, started playing.
Nice.
And he started playing Wonderwall.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so he plays Wonderwall, and then he gets through it, and he's like, anyone else have a song? And the guitar gets passed to Travis briefly, and we play a John Mayer tune, I think, or something like that. And it goes back to Ryan. He's like, okay, here we go. And he starts playing Wonderwall again. And then he played Wonderwall again.
It's like the repeat on the jukebox.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just funny. Every time we hear Wonderwall, we always think of Ryan.
Good old Ryan Moore.
There's a good dad joke that says, my wife told me to stop playing Wonderwall. I said maybe.
Love it.
Oh, man. All right. So, we met you. You're in Las Vegas. And one of the things that was intriguing to us is that you're doing quite a bit right now with DTF. Right?
Yeah, we just went down that journey.
Yeah. So for those that are watching and listening, just kind of tell your story, your pod journey, how you got into print on demand, the print industry in general, and then we'll kind of dive into the minutia. But let's tell us about your story, your history in the business.
So started going through a divorce and separation back when I was in Texas. I was working in the oil industry, selling my hours, just making good money, but man, it took all my time.
Yeah.
And I wanted something different. Something switched in my brain. I was like, I'm going to buy other people's hours. I don't want to sell mine anymore.
Sure.
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
Yeah. So time is crucial, and I value it very much now. But came back to my roots. I grew up right outside of Las Vegas in a little town called Boulder City. It's like right where Hoover Dam's at.
Okay. Sure.
And came back and started looking for opportunity, just like what's out there, what's available, looking at businesses for sale.
Yeah.
I'd started 2 prior businesses, throughout my life, and I was like, I don't want to start one from scratch. Let me see what somebody's already done.
Yeah.
Came across this older gentleman that was getting ready to retire, and he had a screen print shop and embroidery, all really, really old equipment, and this little dingy, like next to an auto body place where it was just, but it was something. It was great.
Yeah.
Bought it at the end of 2019 in December.
Did you know how to screen print at the time?
Oh, I have no idea. But the business part of it and understanding the value and being able to provide value to other people, I understood.
Okay.
So and the screen printer I had, he was gung ho, ready to go. Jose, and
we met him as well.
Jose. Right? Yeah, Jose is awesome. Yeah, he's super
great
awesome. We've really built an incredible team. It's solid. So my mom came on to help with the embroidery side of it. 3 months after we bought the business, COVID lockdown started happening.
Oh my goodness!
Wow. And then I was going through a divorce and custody battle. And it was just like everything I built was just like gone. It was just like, oh my God, I'm starting over. Okay, so we started figuring out ways to survive what was going on in Las Vegas and around the world. I came to Impressions last year, and that's when I decided I wanted to go down the DTF route, the print on demand. We've been having a need for it. There was lots of different customers that we, the same story. Hey, can you give me 4 shirts with like 20 colors on it? And you're like, no.
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 I'd love to be able to, but no.
Right.
Yeah, I'm burning 20 screens for 4 shirts.
Yeah.
No, I'm not burning 20 screens for 50 shirts.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, we started buying transfers. I started going down that route. Okay. And we started out with Supercolor. I heard great things about Supercolor.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me give it a try. I mean, not to knock their product or anything, but there are some things about it that we weren't satisfied with.
Okay.
Some of the negative space problems, the ring around the images.
Sure.
So then we switched over to Stalls.
They're Ultramax DTF.
Right. Yep. But Stalls had their issues too. One of the problems that we didn't want is the really fine detail. Like if you wanted to have like really thin lines, they want you to put something big underneath it.
Yeah.
Like okay. Another problem too is the wait time, and if you mess something up, or if somebody wants a few more shirts, and you got to wait for the transfers to be sent, and, you pay for rush shipping. All of a sudden the costs start going way up. So it's like we need to control the production. And after Impressions last year, I won't say the name, but I decided on the DTF printer.
Sure.
And they're like, it's a 4-month wait. And I thought,
Wow.
Okay, all right, well, you know what? That's fine. We'll wait 4 months. Time started coming and go. I sent the money, everything was paid. 4 months go by, it's coming up on the time. I'm like, communication was not really there.
Yeah.
And I kept pushing them. Where's this thing at? The week that we were supposed to get it, they're promising it all the way up to that point. He's like, we're not selling you this printer. And I was like, well, what? But it was actually a blessing because the reason he wasn't selling them, he wasn't going to sell them to anybody anymore because they were duds.
Oh, no.
But we were going to be going with a smaller printer. It was going to be one of the A3s.
Okay.
We started going down this journey of where to source our printer from.
Sure.
The place where I was getting it before, the distributor was out of Florida, and they deal with high humidity. We're in Las Vegas.
Yes, there's no humidity.
Completely different environment. Went with DTF Superstore down in Phoenix. We even drove down with a trailer and put 2 crates on the truck and just pulled it back. Saved us $1,500 in shipping. So, but
nice.
Yeah, and we had a little road trip out of it.
Yeah.
But we ended up moving locations. We got this new spot right over by the runway in Las Vegas. Beautiful location. It's an office space.
Okay.
Different than the warehousing type space. Took us forever to get it in. We had to tear down walls, put up French doors.
New out. Yeah,
right.
new build
I had to
out.
take out the windows to bring in the equipment.
Oh, wow.
And when you say runway, you mean literally the McCarran Airport
Literally
runway.
the McCarran Airport.
Right, you're hearing
Harry Reid
airplanes
Airport now.
all
They
day.
changed it.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah,
okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's always going to be
I can
McCarran
throw
to
a
me.
rock from my place and hit the runway with it. It's it's pretty cool. You guys have to come by and check it out.
We will.
sometime.
Next time we're in Vegas, which is fairly often.
Yeah, well, it seems like we find ourselves there often enough.
That's good, man. Well, so I guess the time that I was waiting for the 4 months ended up being all the way until November before we actually had something going.
So right
Right.
Q4 time.
Right.
Oh, boy.
my gosh. Not a good time though, but my lease was up in my other place and they were trying to jack my rent up
Sure.
30%. And I was like, and it was for a junky place we were in, and we're just like, you know what, if we're gonna pay more, we may as well find something better.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So we found that took months too. Oh my gosh. Everything just takes you know how everything takes twice as much and twice as expensive?
Yeah.
Well, I factored that in, and then it was twice as much and twice as expensive from
Well,
there.
you shouldn't have done that, man.
I know, exactly. But we built a climate-controlled environment for that room as well. Ran an RO system, ran a line all the way over to the room, got a commercial humidifier, put it on a humidistat, controlled the temperature. We got air purifiers to pull any kind of dust particles out of the air.
Wow.
Finally got the printer, got it all in there, and it was about 5 weeks probably where we weren't able to get a solid nozzle check. Get everything set up.
not good.
No, it wasn't. But we ended up replacing 2 print heads, and then we were still having problems. And they ended up. They said, "Hey, do you want to send it back? We'll fix it and we'll ship it back to you." And I was like, "I don't want to deal with the crating."
Oh, God, yeah.
I was like, or they'll send a tech, but I have to wait 3 weeks for a tech. I was like, you know what, send a tech because I want to be there when we're doing it.
So you can reproduce it
100%.
down the road. Yeah,
Oh.
if it happens again, you know what to do.
We replaced about every part on that printer. It was ridiculous. But now the silver lining to that was the understanding of what it is, and now we are super confident in the product because if it's doing anything, it's like a truck driver taking care of his truck. If you take care of it, it'll take care of you.
Yeah.
So it's definitely new technology
For sure.
We went around on the product floor, and a lot of the dryers are the same. They're just rebranded, whatever.
Sure.
And we went around like, oh, look at it. They got rid of the Chinese writing on the on the
They painted something over it.
Right,
whatever.
right, yeah.
We were actually talking to several people about DTF at this show, and we'd always get into these because it's new technology.
Yeah.
And and there really isn't anybody in the U.S. that's
Right.
manufacturing. However, I did see an M&R branded one, but I don't know if that's just, again,
I
just
think it's
a nice coat of
rebranded
paint.
I think it's a rebranded Cobra Flex.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought, but the Cobra Flex has the
The jetted adhesive.
yeah, the adhesive.
So does that one. So does the
Oh, I
M&R.
thought the M&R one had the
No. The thing
powder.
I do like about those ones is it has such a small footprint. You could probably
It
put
is.
several of those into a small area.
But
Yeah.
the problem is you're freaking pushing glue
Yes.
through a print head.
Yeah.
And what happens with print heads with ink? They get
100%.
clogged.
Yes.
You're going to put glue in there? I mean, your maintenance game has to be on point to
We're,
be able to do that.
We're contemplating moving over to Max White, DTF Max White, which has a higher pigment content to give a more opaque thing. But the problem is, with more pigment, you come into
Yeah.
more problems. And those print heads are finicky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like,
believe it.
I mean, there's ways to do it. We figured out little tricks how to flush those out and how to keep solid nozzle checks. The conditions, understanding the conditions for our printer specifically.
Do they have? So we've got some Mimaki UVs, and they have a setting where you can soak the print heads overnight in like a solvent. Do
Yeah.
they have that? Like you can just set it in there.
I wet cap it. I
Okay.
wet cap it every time. Anytime it's going to sit for more than 30 minutes, I wet cap it.
Wow.
Okay.
And that's, I've had to though. But we're in a climate where I'm pushing humidity all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, I want to get a inline distilled water because I'm pushing RO water right now. So
Yeah.
it's not ideal. Like over time, you get this little white film on everything.
Yeah.
But everything's more investment. You know, you
distilled water.
fine tune the process.
That's going to cost a lot over time.
Right.
Yeah.
And for little minute changes, you know, it can
Yeah.
cost a lot to do something. But if you're willing to go down that path and you're willing to put in that work and take the time to learn, I mean, it makes you an industry leader. It really does.
Sure.
It puts you out front.
Especially because it's such a new technology. So
Right.
if you market yourself as the DTF expert,
Being first to market is
Yeah,
huge.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're the only ones in Vegas doing it.
Right,
We went
right.
around to the other print shops and gave them sample sheets, and we're proud of our sample sheets. So we were not getting transfers that we liked from anywhere, but we're producing the transfers that we like, and
Yeah.
and the quality is high.
Yeah.
It's awesome, and the cost. Now, I mean, well, I guess if you factor in, you know, all the financing and, and getting a new space and like
Yeah.
everything like that, the cost is a lot higher. But overall, the consumables are fairly inexpensive,
Yeah.
comparatively. So
So would you consider, here's two questions. First one is, would you consider doing a service for other people in the industry to provide them with transfers?
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
That's what you guys are doing right now.
Well, we're doing a combo of things. We were very much heavy B2B type business.
Okay.
You know, going like schools, churches, hospitals, businesses, nonprofits. You know, minimum shirt orders, all these things. But we're now we're developing the business to consumer, a B2C.
Okay.
But on top of that, we're also developing the wholesale side. I want to start selling heat presses out of our shop.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
People are super interested, even selling heat press time potentially. I don't know. There's so many different ways to do it. We'll probably try some things.
Yeah.
I got my guys right now on the showroom floor looking at specific heat presses that we're wanting to possibly
check.
partner
Yeah,
with
yeah.
and become a distributor. I don't know. It's all, you know, as an entrepreneur, you know, there's ideas everywhere.
Shiny
depending on-
objects everywhere.
Oh, all over the place, all over the place. And you got to be careful not to do
Yeah,
them all.
you do.
'Cause
Yes.
You'll sink yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
But sometimes when it makes sense, you know,
Yeah.
that's when you go down that route. So.
Yeah, for sure. I just also, before we go any further, for those that are listening that think DTF stands for three different words, and maybe they don't know what it is, just give a brief kind of overview of what exactly DTF is, so that
Sure.
those listening that don't know can kind of join the conversation,
Sure.
as it were, and then we'll go from there.
So if you're at the shirt show and somebody says, "Are you DTF?"
You got to clarify.
You have to clarify. Yeah, 100%. DTF is direct to film. The process is using CMYK inks on an inkjet printer.
Yeah.
Laying down color onto a film and a reversed image, and then a white base is then sprayed over the top of that. Goes through a powder shaker where the adhesive is then put onto the back part of that white. So even on a black, you have to at least have a little bit of white. So it's dialed down, but it's enough for the adhesive powder to bond.
Sure.
Okay. From there, it goes through a shaker, knocks off any excess, and then goes up into the curing process, going through the heat tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you got to have good ventilation too.
Sure.
I mean, and I've heard that the powder can be toxic. You probably don't want to breathe it.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to make sure you have really good ventilation.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's glue. Let's not put
100%,
glue in our
100%.
lungs.
Yeah, it's not
if
great.
we can, help it.
we used grow room ventilation stuff for weed. Like just like they got great products. It's like, okay, this.
Yeah.
They figured out that problem. Now I don't have to.
Yeah.
So for anybody that's watching, your hat has DTF on it on the top. And you got the thing up, but you could just show at the the top of your rim. Yeah, your bill has DTF.
awesome.
We've been just playing with stuff,
Yeah.
just putting it on anything. Like we've been doing a lot of R&D. We've changed our film. We started out with a cold peel because we didn't want to just go through rolls of film, while we're getting all their stuff dialed in.
Because the hot peel rolls are more expensive.
They're a bit more
than the
expensive.
Cold
Yeah.
peel.
Right.
So start with cold peel,
Right.
get all the kinks worked out. But hot peel for
Once we got it all, once we dialed the printer in, we're like, okay, the prints are perfect now. All right, now let's look at films. And so now we're still trying to find better films. They're always coming out with new stuff. We're getting one that's the hot peel from DTF Superstore at the moment, but it says hot peel, but it's not really.
So it's like warm peel.
It's a warm peel, but if you're gonna go with super fine detail, really like mind-blowing fine detail, you let that hot peel cool all the way down, and
It's gonna pull it all out.
it'll stay. It'll stay.
Oh, it'll stay. You're saying,
It'll stay on the shirt.
Oh, it'll stay on.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fantastic. You let that cool all the way down. A hot peel film cool all the way down, and then don't just like
Yeah,
rip
you
it
can't
off.
rip it.
Like give it. Just see what it's doing.
Yeah.
Get to know that print. But what's happening in those fibers is the glue, the adhesive, is binding to the fibers. When you push it down into the shirt. If you pull it off, that glue hasn't had time to set yet. It's pretty rapid. It's pretty fast process. But at the same time, you just want to be mindful and see what it's doing.
Yeah.
And climate things. There's all sorts of different variables that will determine that as well. So.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. So we talked about what DTF is. We talked about kind of your journey. I'd love to hear, like, you touched on it a little bit, but like, who is your customer? Like, what does your business actually do? Are you guys still running presses and the whole 9 yards, or what else? What other process do you do? Who do you sell to? All of that stuff.
So we do screen printing, embroidery, laser engraving. We were doing vinyl decals. I'm trying to get away from that just because it's kind of a pain in the ass with weeding.
Yeah.
But we still do it sometimes, just as a service to certain clients, that want something. We don't really advertise it. But then, so we got rid of 2 of our presses. We were only running manuals. We got 8-color 4-station, then we had 2 6-color 4-stations, and we'd have several people running in there. Our order sizes, our minimums were 12, and from 12 to 40, we had really high prices on them. They were just like, you know what, jack up those prices. People didn't bat an eye. We're like, okay, now we're making more money on that. That makes a lot of sense. And it was also a way to push people over that 40 mark. So they're like, hey, I'm gonna do 36. Well, you know what, we'll help you out. We're not, I'm not gonna sell you 36 shirts, and just keep that jacked up. Like, hey, just bump over the 40, and they're super happy about it. And you're making money on the apparel at the same time. So, we ended up buying a Baradin too. We had an SWF.
Oh, okay. That's an embroidery machine.
Right. Yeah. We had an SWF. It was an old thing. My mom was hating it, and she hated life. It was a pain in the ass. But the Baradin, we got a used one, but it's so much nicer. Much nicer.
Actually, Josiah, their former company, had a Baradin that he had to learn, and you hated life,
hate
right?
embroidery.
I do too.
I hate it. It caused me to almost become a functional alcoholic. Because you walk in, and one day I'm like cranking out hats. I'm like, finally, I've mastered this machine. And then the next day you walk in, and you're like, everything's broken, and I don't know where to start. You know what I mean? Like, I understand now that it is very much people who are good at it. It is like artwork. Like they are
it's an art
artists.
form.
They're
Yes.
very, very good at what they do and deserve all of the appreciation in the world.
There's so many little tiny moving parts.
Yes.
And there's so many little things that can go wrong. And diagnosing that too.
Yeah.
It's like maybe a tension's off somewhere and you're like, you keep getting thread breaks on another needle and you're like, what's going on here? Like, why is this head doing this and this head would like, I don't, my mom won't let me touch it. I'll break it. I'm not allowed.
That's cool. So your mom works in your business and she runs the embroidery
She does the
department?
embroidery stuff. She keeps trying to quit and I keep trying to fire her, but it just doesn't work out. She's great though. She everybody in the shop calls her the shop mom. So it's cool. We've built a really cool crew. I recently hired a Marine veteran. I'm in the military veteran space in Las Vegas.
That's awesome.
I've kind of made him my ops manager. Right now he's trying to take a lot of the workload off of me.
Okay.
And so like when there's things that I don't have time to deal with, I'll throw it to him and he's able to take it. He's like he can take it and run with it and a lot of times do it better than I can. I'm like, there you go. Now you have a new responsibility.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
So in my shop, our audience knows this, but my son is actually my production manager.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so it's really cool. It's a similar type of thing. I just keep trying to give him more stuff and push him towards ops manager. Just trying to just slowly but surely. So he's been, obviously I didn't go in Thursday because we got, for the show, and Thursday or Friday he was, running the whole thing. Got a big trip planned in February. It's my wife and my 25th wedding anniversary. We're actually going to Hawaii. And we're going to be there for 10 days. So that's going to be a major test run for him. But he's loving the business. He's engaged more and more in the business, in even making decisions and coming up with things. And to your point, it's like, okay, now you know how to do this. It's yours.
Yes.
And you can utilize other people on the staff to utilize their time if you want, but it's your responsibility. The buck stops with you.
And not only is it theirs, but they own it and they take pride in it. And that's what you want out of somebody, out of a team. I mean, that's what it is. I might be the quarterback, but everybody else plays vital roles.
Right.
So,
absolutely. It's important to do.
You need a Travis Kelce.
That's right. 100%.
He's a Chiefs fan, by the way, guys. So
I'm a straight male, but I have a man crush on Mahomes.
As do I.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think buy-in is huge, like that sense of ownership and being able to, even if it's not your production manager or your son that's working with you, but to have that production tech have a sense of ownership of like, I made that shirt. I'm going to make sure this shirt comes out the absolute best. And
100%.
That only happens when leadership can help them kind of get that buy-in and that ownership of that role.
There is a tipping point, however, because you're going to do well if you have OCD in this industry. Sure. That OCD can kind of limit you sometimes too, whereas like, you're trying for perfection on something that a customer's never even going to notice or even realize.
100%. We are our own worst critics when it comes to prints.
No one's going to know it.
But for the people that want quality, that's where they pay that little extra value added, of consistency and quality with the product that they're getting.
And not only that, but when you have that OCD mindset, your customer service is next level too. Because if your customer has a question about the process, or they are or they want to know what happened, or you can explain to the nth degree why that is the way it is, why the cost is the way it is, why they should get this and not that. It definitely ups your customer service game.
We when I bought the business, they were running everything on QuickBooks Desktop, and that was it. No shop management software.
Oh, ouch. That's painful.
Well,
it's hard anyway.
It was, but I guess the silver lining to the lockdowns was it slowed everything down so that we could develop processes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess had we been super busy, like right off the bat from that, it might have been a much harder battle because I feel like we had enough time to develop processes properly. We went through a few different shop management softwares, a few different accounting softwares. We ended up with Deco Network.
Okay. That's what we use as well.
Yeah. Oh, nice. And every time I look into that program, you peel a layer back, and there's like so much more.
Yeah.
So
it's very full featured.
Right. I mean, there's features I wish it had.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
You know,
it's not perfect, but
right.
none of them are.
Right. Exactly.
No, that's interesting. I was going to ask you because you actually attended my talk yesterday, talking about e-commerce and print on demand.
Right.
And my first question, and this more goes to ego. Did you? No, I was going to ask you if you liked it. I wasn't going to actually answer. No, I was going to ask you, were you planning on attending that talk before you met me, or was it just like, oh, I'm going to go see Travis at the thing?
I planned on attending that talk before I met you. In fact, I didn't even know that it was you. I saw you in there, and I thought you were going to attend the class.
Okay.
I was like,
That's
hey,
awesome.
guys. And like, oh, you're teaching the thing. Awesome.
So the reason I asked that is I'm just curious. You're looking at that,
Right.
Kind of as a direction for your business. What were you planning on? Like, what are you wanting to implement in the e-commerce space with print on demand?
We've just started to go down the path of online stores, fulfillment for different clients. And we're developing that onboarding process right now.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm working with a girl, O'Brien Wheeler from Moongate Hosting. She's got her own clothing. We just found each other, and right now she's like loving the back end of Deco Network and just helping to
That's awesome.
understand it to where we can turn it into a product that we can just cookie cutter and
In a box, kind
right.
of just replicate.
Hey, this is the product. Here's the different levels. This is what you can get.
Josiah totally ran with Deco.
Yeah,
and
for a
he
long time.
and he did all of the videos and the trainings and
Yeah.
introducing the products and
It's a
figured
lot
it
of
all
work.
out.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
that
it's
back
a
end
lot.
is very full featured. And adding products that aren't necessarily in those catalogs.
Oh my goodness, yes.
It's a pain in the
I was
butt.
going to ask you yesterday when we were in the class how you did your products in Deco Network because you have the APIs with what they have, but that's usually mostly apparel. And you guys were talking about doing coffee mugs. And I was like, I bet you they have to add that in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple like in the back end of Deco that you can pull coffee mug mock-ups and price it the way you want it. It's there.
Yeah.
There is some drinkware there, but it does take. I'm never super stoked with the Deco generated mock-ups.
Right.
The stuff you get from suppliers is nice on their back end. From if you're plugging into Sanmar or SNS or whatever. The coffee mugs can leave a little bit to be desired.
Yeah.
And so I did go in and add a new line item with the pictures, get
but
the
I'm
pricing,
sure at some
set
point
the
it makes
area.
sense too to spruce up that image and to
Yeah, because Deco stores aren't sexy. They don't look nice.
Yeah.
Like Inksoft stores can look a lot more customizable.
Right.
When I run across a Deco store, I can immediately tell that's a Deco store.
Right.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot, which I've done. It takes a lot of workarounds to make it not look like a Deco store. That's a lot of time.
That's what I really like about O'Brien's experience in the web development side of it.
Yeah. Because you can code whatever. I mean, you can code whatever into Deco.
She made it. I just gave her access to a web store, and I was like, "Here, play with this."
Yeah.
And in fact, I did that to a bunch of different designers. Hey, play with this, see what you can do. The
Are you
that
guys
came back-
hosting the total company or total promotion company site through Deco right now?
We're running our site through Deco as well.
Okay.
And we have our main site. It's got the design tool. People can upload. We've got different apparel on there. It's a limited catalog.
Sure.
But mostly it's for orders for people that and we learned the shop management side of that software first.
Yeah, totally.
We didn't have the DTF. We were waiting a year, so another silver lining, I suppose, is learning that program before we actually had the DTF machine.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing, when you're hosting your site through Deco and you end up wanting to offer stores to folks, they can. There's a function where they can sign up right then and there from your site. It's cool. Automated. You don't have to do anything, which is because when the original company I worked for with my father-in-law, we used Deco, and at the very beginning we used Squarespace, and I was manually creating stores, manually uploading listings, and it was a nightmare because every little change that client wanted, I had to go in and fix it for them. And so the automation side of like people opening up their store and being able to email them the tutorial videos automated was such a lifesaver.
We don't even know what we're going to charge for the stores yet. We kind of have a base price right now. If people that are just to pay for her time, like $350.
Sure.
But I don't even know what we're going to charge per month right now. I was super curious when you guys were talking about VAs yesterday and automating some of those things and like having a store manager oversee 10 stores or something. Is that how you guys do it?
No.
No, so the website function for at least what we've done, if people want a website store, if they want to sign up, it's free. They get the videos, do what you want.
Yeah.
If you want me to build out your store, I'm going to charge you a flat fee.
Right.
And then you're going to pay me for that.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to teach you how to run your store. And if you still ask me for stuff, I'm going to charge you more the next time. So it's like
consulting fee. Really.
Consulting fee, building out their store. We've not really done much of a monthly subscription fee for a deco store. It's not a bad idea.
Right.
Obviously, it's a great way to monetize those stores.
Right.
Just
and also filter out the people who are just filling up your slots.
Exactly.
Right.
It'll make them want to sell stuff.
Yeah. Last year, when I came to Impressions, I talked to a girl. I don't remember who it was. But they were doing stores last year. And she was saying that what she does is she charges something to, like, the customer's putting some skin in the game. They want to get a return on it.
Absolutely.
So they're actually using and pushing it. They actually had more orders through the stores that were paid than the ones that weren't.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, looking in hindsight being 2020, I think one of my biggest pain points with working with influencers specifically is that not every influencer is a marketer.
Right.
And sometimes people get that confused because they have such a big following. Well, they got a big following because they're being idiots online or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're doing stupid stuff. They're not marketers, and so what inevitably happens is you sign up an influencer, they launch their store. That first 3 weeks is gangbusters. I mean, just selling like crazy, and then they're done.
It's silent.
Yeah,
and they do nothing. But if you were to say, dude, it's $40 a month, for this store, just like an Amazon professional seller account, whatever. It will motivate them to start moving and thinking like a marketer and launching new designs and how do you keep your audience engaged? Because that's why I always have to keep casting my reel back into the waters because I get a big fish and then it feeds me for a couple of months and then it's gone. They don't, they don't do anything else.
We're developing a cookie cutter package for influencers right now as well. Because Vegas is full of them.
Oh my God,
Vegas is wild.
For sure.
Oh my God,
it's entertainment capital,
Yeah, and when you start going down that path too, and you're like marketing to influencers, you start to become friends with them, and all of a sudden you're going to these crazy parties, and you're like, what is going on? This shirt thing is like fun.
Yeah, and they love you because you've given them a way to monetize something that they already built.
People can build businesses around what we do.
Yeah,
and they do, and they're successful.
Yeah, and you love them because they do all the marketing for you. They bring the traffic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to sell yourself as a business and a business owner, but when you attend their launch parties, you're already in. They love you.
It works out to be a great ecosystem for everybody involved in it. And when the customer's happy with their product, the influencer, whoever it might be that has a web store, they're happy with it. You take that problem off of them. They know that they want to monetize. They know they want a merch store, but they don't want to deal with any of the stuff. They just want to wear it,
inventory.
Be cool.
They don't want to.
Their job is to be cool.
Again, they're not marketers.
They're not.
They just want to wear the shirt and have you buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, you might legitimately, I've considered this too when I've worked with influencers, is launching a marketing package. Be like, I will help you, but you are going to pay me because I got into this really weird gray space because I wanted them to succeed because it equaled my success. Was treading that line of like, hey, here's some really cool marketing ideas, and then going back to them and them coming back to me without me defining that relationship of like, hold on, I'm not on your payroll.
Right.
You don't pay me. The other business pays me. If you want to pay me something, I'll be glad to carve out a couple hours a week or a day to chat with you. But I'm not gonna whore myself out for free.
It's amazing how sometimes people don't realize what they're asking for.
They have no idea. There's no grid.
The stuff that we're doing, there's a lot of work that has to go into building these stores. So, so that was your primary reason for coming to that talk was I want to see what if I want to use Deco as building stores for people, so that's the e-commerce. Are you thinking about or have you thought about going on any of the channels that we talked about, like the Amazons or any of that stuff? Or is that's just another kind of...
That's a whole learning curve. I started going down that path, looking and doing Amazon, but it's one of those things. It's there's so many layers to it, and if you don't do it right, I mean, I've met people that have kind of lost their ass on stuff too. Where, you know, so. Now that I know you guys, it's awesome because now I can pick your brains, and be like, hey, how you doing this? You know, Now I might be able to revisit that thought and look back into that again because now you just know somebody that's gone down that path. You know, and when everybody shares information, all ships rise. You know, the industry improves, everybody wins. It's really great. So
I would think honestly in the e-commerce game, doing DTF and like offering custom transfers, Etsy would probably be a great space for that.
See, I closed my Etsy store.
Did you?
I did. We were selling laser engraved shot glasses.
Okay.
And didn't make a lot of money on it. I loved it because the funny stuff that people would put on shot glasses, like
it's endless.
And also, you know, it keeps the laser engraver going. You know, and especially when I was learning it and keeping my skills sharp on it. But eventually, I just ran out of time. Like we get like a little order over here. I'm like, man, now I got to go crank up the laser. I got to go to all this stuff for one little shot glass. I'm working on things over here that are opportunity cost, really.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're running that DTF machine and you can set minimums or whatever, people want custom transfers for their son's birthday or the trip to Disney World or
we're doing really small. Like if we're on gang sheets, our smallest is 12 inches by 22 inches wide. So we maintain that roll. We maintain that roll size. Yeah. But with shirts, I mean because you can load 100 unique designs onto a sheet and be done with it.
And it's interesting because, I mean, to your point, like you on Etsy, you could be selling some DTF trend because there are so many people on Etsy and just in general, there's like this whole craft wave, and so there's all these people that have flat presses at home.
See, selling gang sheets to them would be great. And it's I was really shocked when I came here to find out that not more people have gone down this DTF printer journey. But it is a journey. It's a pain in the ass.
It is. I think that's it. It's a high bar right now because there's nobody really in the U.S. and the major players like the Brothers, the Epsons, those guys that they've dialed it into the point where they're A, making machines here that they will warranty and send a tech out if it's screwed up, and B, the consumables. I've heard the horror stories of bad batches of ink, bad rolls, bad film, all of those, bad glue, all of it. And there's no consistency.
I pay a premium for the special inks, not special, but I guess the premium inks. But that's because the consistencies and being able to have that source. They've got manufacturers in Europe. There's manufacturers in the U.S. for DTF inks. And you're going to have more consistency with those. But the thing is too, once you pick your ink, you're going to have to stay with that ink unless you want to like drain everything out, flush all the lines out. And because the formulations are different, and you start mixing it, you're going to mess up your printer.
For sure.
So like when you stick with an ink, you like start with the one that you're going to stay with.
Sure. We heard yesterday, we were watching the Chiefs game at the Island bar over there by the convention center, and this lady sat down next to us and her husband, and they were from the show. And we just make some conversation, and she says, I'm looking into UV DTF. And we both of us were like, what? UV?
We have a UV machine?
So then we went and talked to the All-American guys over there, and they're like, it's something we know about. And they alluded to a machine being in the works from them.
DTF Superstore's got one available right now, and I was talking to them about it. And they said it's incredible. It's for solid substrate and stuff. I mean, being able
to glass or
and that increases your offerings to your customers.
Oh my gosh!
Now the different products you can do, really fast. I was super excited to see. I don't even know what it's called. It was that digital embroidery.
The supplement the white thread.
We dropped a video in our Facebook group yesterday talking about it.
If you're not in our Facebook group, those of you listening, go check that out. It is a video we posted yesterday, but essentially it's like real color embroidery, and that they're basically taking white thread and putting it through a dye sub process.
Yeah, they're sublimating that thread.
As it comes through, it heats it, stitches it in, and you're getting gradients
it was
and
like
colors
2 million
and-
colors or something.
Yeah.
Possibilities.
$30,000 for that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll fit on the Baradin.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I have a 6 head. It makes me want to get a single head
Just for that?
For doing print on
You
demand.
don't need another thing.
Yeah.
For
It's-
print on demand, it's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
Print on demand for embroidery sucks.
Yeah, because you have everything digitized.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's right now we do a minimum of 6 for our embroidery. We got 6 heads. We'll do that. Sometimes it'll lead because once you have it digitized, you can hang on to that file. Somebody's ordering 6, they're likely going to order more in the future. And we'll do onesies and twosies if we have the digitized files all like perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that initial like, hey, I want one shirt that's crazy.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that real color embroidery was
That was nuts.
just the crazy. I mean, I told him,
Color
I'm like,
Reel
Color
is the,
Reel,
was
yeah,
the
yeah.
name of it. Yeah, Color
I
Reel.
told him, I'm like, well, we could finally embroider our podcast logo because it's
Yeah.
so, you know, neon
There's so much
and bright
fade and all
Right,
of that
right.
stuff. You know,
So I wanted to ask, who's the guy we talked to?
your hat kind of
Yeah, it
has
has
some of that.
gradient,
Oh,
but you
yeah.
can, and the
Yeah.
you can see where the switch
where the
happens.
switch happens. With that
Right.
color
Yeah, with
reel,
that
you
color
would
reel.
not see
Yeah,
any
it'd
of
be
that
seamless.
switch. That's amazing.
The technology is
It's
insane.
I wanted to ask the rep you're talking to, like, hey, can I email you this logo and stitch it for us?
Just go ahead and put it on a
We're
hat.
gonna go
and
get a
send it back to me.
5-panel hat
As a
from that other
sample.
booth. Yeah, and we're gonna bring it here. Yeah, that's crazy.
Awesome. Okay, so we're, I don't know, what are we at? 40-some minutes or something like
40,
that?
close to 45 minutes.
Let's kind of do a version of the magic questions. We don't have the cool bumpers right now, but we
Right.
we have this group of questions that we ask our guests.
Okay.
We call them the magic questions, and they're not, you know, they're pretty similar most of the time. But
Yeah.
We always end with the first, that same one.
yeah. There's always one that we always come to, but one question I want to ask you is the first, I guess, magic question. Tell us about a time in your business where something went terribly wrong and it was a total failure, and you were like, I don't know if we can come back from
I'm
this.
done. Yeah.
I may be done.
Yeah.
Give us that story.
Which time?
That's usually what people say.
Yeah.
I've got to pick
Yeah.
First time was COVID lockdowns.
Okay.
We were producing, and all orders stopped. We produced what we had left. People that paid for their stuff didn't even bother to come pick it up,
Wow.
and it was just crickets. It was just like, what do we do?
And money's still going out because you're still
Money's
paying
going out.
staff.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
paying
Oh, yeah.
building, you know, leases, loans, all of those things.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you make it work?
So, coming out of the oil industry, I had oil money at first, and I had a giant rock crawler Jeep that I would go play around in the desert with, and I would go play around with other people that had Jeeps. Turns out, I started having fun is what happened. I created a post-apocalyptic nomadic Jeep tribe called the Desert Nomads, and it
Okay.
got super popular. We were like made potato guns and stuff, and we're like, hey, we studied Mongolian battle tactics, and like, this is our horses.
That's a whole other podcast,
Yeah.
man.
So,
Oh my God.
yeah, we were having fun with it, but the fun that we were having, it attracted awesome people, and there's other business owners, and there's other, like, we were building tribes. Again, there wasn't going to be any government there. We're like, we don't know how far this is going to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
We got to do it ourselves. So let's figure it out. Let's find good people and finding solid people. And I got a great network. So many great networks in Vegas now, just over that experience. That saved me there.
Yeah.
Other times
That's
were
great. That's amazing.
other times were, I mean, when we supply chain problems were interesting.
Yeah. 2020 supply chain problems
Yeah,
are the
oh my
worst.
We had our dryer go out one time. We didn't realize it. We didn't catch it, and we had product go out
That wasn't cured?
that wasn't cured properly,
Oh,
and
no.
started coming back, and that's why I don't want to do screen printing bulk. The margins are razor thin.
Yeah.
If you make a little mistake, it can cost you huge.
Yeah.
Whereas with the print on demand, I mean, the margins are a lot higher, and if you make a mistake, you take that hoodie and
That's
put it in the
one thing.
Yeah.
Take that
Not
hoodie and throw it in
500.
the rag pile.
Yeah.
So it for that aspect of it, that made me realize I was like, I don't like this, like, making peanuts on something giant that has a huge price point.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
Yep.
I don't know. There's all sorts of times.
No, that's great.
That works.
Yeah, do the next one.
I was trying to pull one from memory because we usually do three.
Do the major one because I'm going to ask him one like not scripted one.
Oh,
So
As
do
the
the
third
one we usually
Yes,
go to?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we usually tell people to put on their turban and look into your crystal ball here.
Right.
But what, in your opinion, is the future of print on demand? Like, what do you see 5 or 10 years down the road?
5 to 10 years. That's a lot of time in what's happening right now. And I mean, look what happened each year is just like
Every year there's
leaps and
something
bounds.
crazy happening.
Yeah.
I see print on demand becoming easier for the end user.
Sure.
Right now, the problem is controlling variables.
Yeah.
And when they can automate those things, when DTF, you can get it from Walmart, in a box that's made by brother. And then people are going to be making their own stuff.
Okay.
But being first to market and understanding the technologies, because when that's there, the new technologies are going to be even wilder. We can't even fathom.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, good answer. All right, so third magic question. This
Yeah.
is actually not an official magic question, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity to speak to somebody who is new to the print-on-demand game, new to the printing game, and
Right.
what advice would you give them as kind of a relatively seasoned veteran, and if
Right.
you've had failures, you've had successes, you've gone through the shit,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. What are you going to tell them when they're starting? What advice do you have for them?
advice is no matter how bad it gets, no matter how hard it is, keep pushing forward, because it's those learning experiences that culminate and you start getting an understanding. Like, you see the silver linings, like in things that happened later on in hindsight,
Right.
and you're like, I'm hated it at the time, but I'm glad it happened, because this is what it's led up to us. Also, you have to be willing to learn. You have to, especially with new technologies. Like, you have to test, you have to try, you have to try new things, processes, and then once you have your system in place, test it, try to break it.
Yeah.
Try to break it and make it better. Same thing with the off-road Jeep community. You take the Jeep off-road, you break it, and then you upgrade it, because obviously that part was not strong enough. So you need to get those axles.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, all of those things, like testing and doing all that, it's going to cost money.
All the time.
And
It's
so you
rough.
have to actually be willing
To
to spend that money
Right.
to figure out how much
So-
pre-treat needs to go on this particular shirt versus another one or whatever.
There's the money part of it. You can do a lot of it fairly inexpensively, but it's going to take time. But you're trading time. And don't try to do it all at once either. Learn an aspect of it. Like, I've kind of got in over my head sometimes trying to do everything all at once. And
Guilty as charged.
Yeah. We're kind of narrowing down into things that makes more sense to us right now, and DTF for us makes more sense. We're not really advertising. We can do laser engraving. We do awards and things. We do different things. You guys have a similar shop, I think, with a bunch of different processes. But I think you guys have also narrowed down into the print on demand, and you have your processes that just make sense, that are faster. That I don't know. Once you figure it out, it's fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but you're gonna go down a lot of paths before you figure it out, most likely, and that's okay. I think that's what you're saying.
Another thing too is the path doesn't stop. There's never an end point. You continue to learn. You continue to push it. If you want to be an industry leader, you have to be willing to learn. After this, I'm going to go see the guys over at Rock. They're going to show me under the hood on the now. So we're gonna look at everything, because they went through a whole development process too. I geeked out with Buck for 2 hours that same night when I met you guys. And I guess you're gonna have a better time if you're a nerd. Like, sure, you're like if you're willing to geek out on some cool stuff, like, and be passionate about it, you're gonna have a lot more success.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Well, dude, thanks so much for carving some time out this morning. I'm glad we were able to make it work.
Sure.
We had chatted about it since we met on Friday night, so it was good to hang with
Brandon
you.
Brandon just actually, I think you joined our Facebook group.
I did.
Yeah, and so if you guys want to reach out to him, you can reach out to him there. If you got a question for him, is there any other way you'd
give us some plug your social stuff, your sites.
Business is Total Promotion Company. On Instagram, it's Total Promotion Co. I think it's the same thing on Facebook. I kind of suck at social media. I'm trying to get better. My next hire is going to be some hottie that, just a Gen Zer that knows what she's doing. Oh, yeah. Somebody that already lives in that world and help bring that style into our brand. We're going to be doing some rebranding, too.
Okay.
Sure.
I bought the business. It was called Total Promotion Company, so I didn't want to change everything right away.
Right.
But now that our business is changing, now we can start doing some DBAs and start playing with some things.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Well, he's going to be in the Facebook group. Hit him up. Ask him questions. Go ahead.
TotalPromotionCompany.com. You can get all the details there, too.
Cool. That is sweet. And before we go, we have to get a dad joke from you.
Oh, shit.
Because you are a guest.
Yep.
Oh. They just come out naturally. I don't even have a repertoire of
We should have reminded him.
We should have.
This isn't kind.
It's very on the spot.
It is very on the spot
us to do, but or we could think about it and then we'll record it separately like we did the other dad jokes.
I'm much better when I have a
after
beer in me.
this.
Get a couple beers in me and the dad jokes just start flowing. The greatest thing is making my kids grown. That's like
it's the best.
It's not a good dad joke unless your kids are embarrassed.
That's right.
100%.
Yeah. Like, oh God, Dad, stop talking. Those are the best dad jokes to have for sure.
That's awesome. Well, so we can do that. What we'll do is we'll let you
I'll think of a good
wrap it up.
Yeah.
We'll do the thing, and then you guys will have to listen after the final, the music plays and whatever. We'll come back and we'll do the dad joke. How about that?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That works.
Or I'll give you 2 dad jokes next time we do a podcast. You guys come out to Vegas and.
Well, we don't want to shortchange the listeners, so we'll come back in a second.
Right.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Wrap this thing up.
It's a post-credit scene, as it were, for the dad joke. But thanks you guys so much for listening. If you have any questions, again, Brandon's going to be in the Facebook group. PinOnDemandCast.com/Facebook is where you go to find the group, join the family, join the conversation, join the community, and let us know what you think and if you have any other questions. If you don't do social media, I don't blame you. You can email Travis and I, info@PrintOnDemandCast.com is where you can reach out to us if social media is not your thing. And as always, wherever there are podcasts, the PODcast is there for you, whether it's Anchor or Spotify or Apple or Google, wherever. We are there for your listening pleasure. Do us a favor, though, if you happen to be listening on the Apple Podcast app, and leave us a review. 5 stars is preferable, of course, but any review will do. And just leave us, let us know what you think of the show, your favorite dad joke, your favorite guest. You can ask Brandon how he maintenances that beautiful beard he has right now.
All you gotta do is just stop shaving. It's so easy.
So again, thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week. For Travis, I'm Josiah. Thank you again to Brandon Mills for being on the show, and we'll see you next week right here on the Print on Demand Cast.
See ya.
Hey, babe. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Print on Demand Cast. We hope you enjoyed the Totally Tubular Show. If you've got a question or a suggestion for the show, send Travis and Josiah an email at info@printondemandcast.com. Want to be wicked nice? Take a minute to rate and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe now so you don't miss next week's episode. See you next time, for sure.
All right, here we are, post-credit scene. For sure, the first time we've recorded this, not the second time at all. For the dad jokes, what happens when there's firsts in Print on Demand Cast history? We somehow inevitably do something wrong and don't capture the full magic. So, with that being said, we are going to do this week's weekly dad joke as promised. And so, Brandon, you are our guest.
Yes.
You're going to go first.
Hit it, brother.
So hit us with this week's dad joke of the week.
All right. Well, being that we're in Long Beach at Impressions Expo, and there's shirts everywhere.
Right.
And the other day, it was the Sanmar booth.
Yeah.
There was a guy in there that was stealing shirts in order of size.
Really?
Yeah. Turns out he's still at large, though.
Not able to find a large shirt in the entire place. Go to the American Apparel display. That's all they're giving away.
I
love it.
Is large T-shirts.
All right, so okay, I got the Print on Demand Cast weekly dad joke for you guys. So why is it that there have never been aliens that have visited our solar system? It's because they looked at the reviews. Only 1 star.
And there you have it. This week's weekly dad jokes, plural. So yeah, thanks you guys for listening. We'll be back next week.
Thank you guys.
See you guys.